Kabuto Sumo. Kabuto meaning bug, and sumo meaning kill. It's a board game experience that sits on your table and will bring the bugs to the yard. Is it great? No. Is it good? Yes. Is it available generally right now? Yo, don't ask me that question right now, buddy. That's a hard one to answer right now. You haven't even heard what my critical opinions are yet, and that's what this review is basically for. No, it's not really widely available at the moment. Listen, this is a game that is real easy to teach. You just take it out the box, you look at the instructions, and boom, there it is. You've got a ring, you've got some discs, you've got some bugs. You are one of the bugs, and you have to kill the other bug to win. You start the game with 3 pieces, 2 small greens and 1 large brown. Take the ramp and the ring. Affix the ramp to the ring. With 1 constant slow motion, push your selected piece into the ring, bulging other pieces out the way until the pushed piece is fully inside the ring and no further. If you manage to push out any other pieces, then you'll add them into your inventory for future pushes, and if you push your opponent from the ring, you win the game. Kabuto Sumo is a game so elegant in its constituent parts that it's been copied 1,000 times over in piers and arcades all across quaint English seasides. These coin-pushing games take the sickly sweet thrill of gentle nudging of disc-like objects, replacing soft wood with hard cash, turning a gentle pastime into a roaring trade. Whichever shady businessman runs Brighton Pier, you owe Quanchai and Tony some cash. The thrill here is self-evident. The sluggish push, teetering pieces on edges, unpredictable shifting across tectonic plates of the board. A ramp in ambition and complexity until the killing blow is in sight, saving your chunkiest piece until last to devastate your opponent. Someone organically uttering the words "good trade" when they use a green to push a brown, and a brown to push off a larger brown. Spilling pieces off of the ring onto the table, clattering their way into your inventory. But then Kabuto Sumo throws its many logs onto the fire, because each bug is entirely unique, having its own weird playing piece that it can push onto the board. The cactus, the jaws, the belt, the dung. These pieces often unlock through specific conditions, teetering on the edge of the ring, stacking pellets on your head, or maybe you're just a huge bug from the start, which encourages you to gently RP as your chosen insect. Listen, board games media often talks about games that have toy factor, but often that phrase is just a stand-in for saying this game has huge, detailed plastic miniatures. And I've got to ask, a toy for who? Defining this as a toy is like defining an electric lathe as a park bench. This is not suitable for 6-year-olds. This would give them an injury. This is a weapon. "These are not toys" is a phrase that's also potentially uttered by these people, and it's true. These are not toys. They are objects devoid of play. Kabuto Sumo is a joyous object. Kabuto Sumo is a toy. Kabuto Sumo relishes the click-clack of wood on a table, the tactility of stacking, kinesis, and chance. Kabuto Sumo is a fine example of a dexterity game, a piece of play that anyone can hack off a slice of and feast. Kabuto Sumo is so frighteningly accessible that I dare not explain how to play all the game's joys more than I already have. My work here is done just by showing it to you and presenting it in luscious B-roll segments. Kabuto Sumo is the triple distilled essence of, hey, let me show you something cool. Its ease of setup and play produces a game that not only hits the table in minutes, but continues to stay rooted to that table as a cavalcade of humans come by and want to have a go, drawn in like moths to a wrestling ring. But this thing is packed with flaws. The rulebook is terrible. Quentin Smith barked with laughter when I told him that we could watch the YouTube video on examples of a permitted push. The exceptions to the rules that these powers create screams for a clarification section. There are no words in the rulebook of this game telling you that you need to play it fast for the game to be good, leaving you to enforce your own house-ruled time limits like a weird board game drill sergeant. It is slower, more predictable, and less creative than other dexterity games in its class. In fact, let's get some more negative words from the man who doesn't like Kabuto Sumo, Quentin Smith.
For me, the least I expect from silly dexterity games is for them to get everybody laughing and shouting. That so much of Kabuto Sumo is played in contemplative silence is proof of its mediocrity. That said, I can see a scenario where Kabuto Sumo would be a welcome distraction, perhaps if you were waiting for a toilet in your house to become available, or for a doctor to call you back with test results.
Fair enough, Grandad. Now, by my estimates at the time of writing and recording this video, Kabuto Sumo is not greatly in stock, at least not here in the UK. So perhaps why not spend 10 times the price and buy yourself a crokinole? Perhaps you might pitch for a copy of Pitch Car if you have a table the size of New Zealand. Perhaps you might go for Flick 'em Up if you also have a table the size of New Zealand. Here's the thing, no, Kabuto Sumo does not have the searing, white-hot, dexterous thrills of many of its contemporaries. It is not energetic. It is laid back. It relishes in its ease of use, whittling off its sharper corners for better and for worse. But what's encouraging me onto its waxen log over and over again is the fact that people just want to play this game over and over again, demanding more sumo. This game perfectly fills the dexterity game hole in my collection that was left when I got rid of Flick 'em Up quite recently, having only played it 4 times in 6 years. Kabuto Sumo I have played 15 times in 7 days. To conclude, Kabuto Sumo is not the greatest dexterity game ever made, but it is a dexterity game, and it is exactly as delightful as it looks. No more, no less. Buy it if you reckon you'll like it, and if you're often showing new games to new people, but don't buy it if you've already got a bunch of other dexterity games. And with that earth-shattering conclusion, we've come to the end of this quite rushed video review. Quiz will be back next week with a review of something that I'm quite excited for, and I'll be back soon after that with a review that's maybe more structured than this. Hopefully. I made most of this up as I went along. Stay hydrated, play more board games, and see you very soon. Bye now.